All right, so we're going to get into the parable of the talents, okay? And I'm going to start off by reading it. It says, "For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another two, to another one, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug it in the ground and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also who had the 2 talents came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also who had received the 1 talent came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reaped where I did not sow, and gathered where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was mine with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away, and cast the worthless servant into the darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, I even thought of reading this passage, first of all, because I read it before and lacked the understanding. I've read it quite a few times. But I was on the phone with a very close person to me, and they were expressing to me their disdain or dismay about their career, where they work, how they're being treated, and the extra workload that they have on top of wanting to start a business and not knowing what to do or not really understanding what their purpose was. And immediately I thought about this parable, and now I completely get it. Like the puzzle pieces are completely coming together. So first of all, realize that even if everything in this world were free, we would still have to work, right? We wouldn't be working for another person per se, but we would be working for ourselves, right? We would even barter and trade with each other because we still have to live. So that means that we still need to eat. So you would then have to hunt for your food, right? And then you would have to skin it and cook it and do, much more steps than the most people have to do nowadays. Some people still are very off the grid. But anyway, you would also have to build your house. You would have to find ways to stay warm. You would have to make your own clothes, like, and of course you would barter and trade because, people they have according to their ability. So, some people are really good at hunting, so then this is where the communities come from and so forth, because then you're buying from the butcher, and then you have some people who are really good at making clothes, so you get your clothes from so and so, and then some people are really good at doing hair or teaching or whatever. But anyway, so when talking about that, with the person I was on the phone with, I too have had those thoughts and feelings where I work or where I am in my life, I'm just not satisfied with it, or I feel less than, especially with social media, and you see the things that are going on in the world, and the facade, and just how whatever. We're not going to get into celebrities, that's a whole nother topic, but just thinking about my mindset, how it was maybe even a month ago to where it is now, to the fact that I can go into work and I have the joy of the Lord simply because I woke up this morning, right? When you think about this parable, you know, the master shared his property. He entrusted these servants with his property, no different than God, creating us in his image and giving us his property, which is this earth, and wanting us to sow in it, right? Reap and sow in it, to multiply and be fruitful in it, right? So when thinking about even going into work, whether it's something that you love to do or you do not, we still have the ability to bear fruit each and every day, right? Versus the person who came back with just that same talent, who came back with nothing. Think about the person who goes into work every day and they hate it. they despise it, they're dissatisfied, they're not appreciative, they're not grateful for it, they don't bear any fruit, right? It's almost like doing nothing. Yeah, you pay your bills, you get by, but what fruit did you actually produce? Because when you change your mind, right, the power of God, the Holy Spirit, becomes even more activated in you. So not only do you do your job exceptionally well and become an expert in it, but you also exude the righteousness that Christ literally preached, right? It's not so much of a task. And I'm just talking about one facet of life. I'm not talking about relationships, right? Or the condition of this world, because we know that it sucks. Or the fact that we're living in a system that, is pretty much still like the times of slavery, although we're not shackled in chains. There are people across different countries that are, literally. But speaking specifically of in America, we just work all the time. Especially if, you want to make a living. Some people, they can't, whatever, the system's messed up. But outside of that, every day we all have the ability to bear fruit, even if you're homeless, right? It's all about, you know, the condition of your heart. What fruit are you actually producing? So in this parable, right, for those that have the ears to hear it and the eyes to see it, you then understand that, when little is given to you, you have to appreciate it, right? So even at my job, when I'm not getting paid for the extra things that I do, I'm going above and beyond. Even if I see something on the ground, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm not a janitor, right? Things like that. That improves not only the condition of your heart, right, but it shows that you appreciate the fruit that you have, right? And to those who have a little, much more will be given, right? So even when you have a lot, more will be added onto that, right? Whether it's your knowledge, right? Whether it's a promotion at your job, whether you get an idea to start a business, right? And learn how to make it successful because you actually bear their fruit. Not only do you reap those rewards here on earth, but you will also reap those rewards in heaven. Okay, so just imagine on Judgment Day having your life replayed, right? Not only in front of you, but in front of God, which is for people who are not in good standing with God, is such a shameful and painful experience before you even reach whether it be heaven or hell. You then have to take into account what you did while you were here, right? With what He had given you according to your ability, whether you have an amazing ability to teach, right, to lead, right, to make clothes, to sing, to rap, to dance, whatever it is. How did you do it? Because my thought almost escapes me, but anyway, let me get back to it. I had something really good to say and it kind of escaped me. But just because you do something, right, it's not about what you did, but it's actually about how you did it, right? That's what I was going to say. So you could be doing things that don't align with your purpose. Like if you're a singer and right now you're working at IHOP, for instance, all of those things build the character in the person that you will become if you continue to bear that fruit. If you continue to take those situations, right, that you are in and make the most of it and multiply it and appreciate it and love it and pour out the love of Christ on other people. It's just like reading the Bible. There's no way that you can know the Bible unless you read it, right? Until you show yourself approved to not only read it, but to live the word, right? And through that sanctification period, it bears fruit. So, anyway, I hope that made sense. I thank you all for tuning in, and I just wanted to share this, because it truly impacted me, and the word is living, right? And it applies to the times that we are in now, especially with those, well, which is all of us that are going through inflation, right? So it seems like everything that we do is almost for nothing, when in fact it is not the case. Because God sees all, and we all have to take account for the things that we do while we are here on earth. And a part of that is appreciation, right? And to bear fruit and multiply. Peace out.